And we're back. Welcome back to the Nick Hall Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Hall, joined as always by
Josh Griffey.
We have a special guest in the house today. We've got, you guys know him as Chuckie. It's Ryan Miller.
Hi.
Hey, good intro. Good intro. Hey, if you guys are listening, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever the hell you get your pod, just go ahead and give us a rating and review, or don't, whatever. Hey, here we are. Chuckie's in the house. Let's do this.
Not a real life felon. Should we clear this up? Any real life felonies?
You've been in jail though.
Yeah. I like to visit from time to time. Yeah. It's old stomping grounds. No, not a felon though. Not convicted.
Yeah, right. Everyone needs a couple pop-ins to jail to keep you grounded.
Have you ever been to jail?
Just keeping those pending.
I've never been arrested. I look like an upstanding white because I put the glasses on.
Sure.
And they're like, look at that classy MF.
Mm-hmm.
I'm closest though. I was in the parking lot between the Chug and Dill Street. We were hammered and we kept drinking at this guy's car after the bars closed. And this dude, he kept calling me Vince Vaughn. And I got furiously mad at being called Vince Vaughn.
That's a pretty generous compliment, really.
Well, it was like weird. He was transitioning into fatter phase Vaughn and doing like Santa Claus movies. So I was like really upset about it. It wasn't like Swingers Vaughn, right? It was Fred Claus Vaughn. And I turned around and in just pure rage, I swung on this guy's back window. And it's one of those like dumb things, like don't punch windows, right? But for some reason, I was at like the perfect drunken master level that my fist just shattered his window and went straight through. I got some cuts, but no like major injuries. And the guy's just like, "What the fuck?" Because I called you Vince Vaughn.
I was gonna say that.
And so he like was
excessive jump.
Yeah, he was like flagging down cops, and I just fucking I beat it. I just took off running.
I scrammed.
Yeah, I was just holding my Jaeger, and I just fucking took off running, and I fell asleep at my coworker's porch. Like down the road. Okay. So the next day, these construction workers called the cops and said they thought I was dead because I was sleeping on these. Because I tried to break into my coworker's like window, and of course they didn't answer. They probably thought I was like a maniac.
You broke a car window, but you couldn't get into a fucking house.
Well, because that one was nice. I was trying to like lift the windows. They had like bug screens. I was like, this is classy, and I fell asleep on their front doorstep.
I cared about the window. Care about the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy's window.
They're my coworkers. I did want to enter their house at night without them knowing. I just didn't want to do it in a criminal way. And so these construction workers called and they're like, "Hey, we think this college kid is dead." Because I was just sleeping on like concrete. They had like one of those like furry like cats like welcome here mats. And I was sleeping and the officer woke me up and they're like, "What the hell are you doing? Did you try to break into this house?" I was like, "I know him." But they weren't like answering the door.
I know him, and yes, I did try to break in.
It was just this lady
walks up and was like, "Hey, Vince. Hey, Vince, can I get your autograph?" Wake up, Vince.
I just run up to
Look at Vince sleeping on a porch again.
Dude. But no, it was scary because I was like, she's a lady cop. I'm probably look like this big drunk moron. And I'm trying to like break and enter. Like clearly I was trying to break and enter. Come to find out, just because you know the people, that's still not legal.
Yeah.
And so I went into like acting mode, right? I was doing like, acting at the time, and I was just like, "Officer, I just knew if I drove drunk, that someone wasn't going home that night." And she's like, "Actually, that's pretty cool of you." And she put me in her cruiser and drove me back to my apartment. But now in like light of times we live in now, you're like, if I wasn't like a white guy with glasses, I would have just been like probably sprayed all over that porch.
But maybe.
But that's the closest I've ever
come. Not really
come.
the kind of pod we are.
Yeah, that's true. That's the closest I've ever come to being arrested.
Sure. Yeah, I got arrested on spring break. You got arrested in like bunny slippers and shit.
Yeah. I got in a fight with my girlfriend at 2 a.m. And
also at Ball State.
Also at Ball State, where all the great things happen. And my buddies were having a party, so I decided to go to the party, and all I had was a bathrobe and bunny slippers. Which, it was, in those days, that was okay. We did it. It wasn't the first time.
I did a lot of normal life activities and shit like that.
Just so happened that that's time I got arrested.
Yeah. At college, when you're doing that, you're like finding out who you are. It's like, oh, this character. Look at this character.
I got arrested on spring break in Arizona. It sucked.
Well, I remember because just like half of our dorm floor didn't come back. We're like, my roommate Mikey, I was like, did he die? Like, they couldn't get him. No one was answering their phone.
I got the guy that does all the Kim Murphy t-shirts. I got arrested with him in Arizona. That was great.
I love how he took it though.
Oh, he
was like, "Don't worry, guys. I got this.
Mikey.
Are you sure, Mikey?
Mikey got in the
Don't
worst
worry.
trouble and then walked away with absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, we all had to pay fines. It was terrible. It was horrible.
Mikey's got
It's a
that.
long story.
He also got dropped off in the back of a cruiser, didn't
No, he was riding front seat.
he?
Yeah. He met us at the In-N-Out Burger riding front seat, and he got out and he said, "Thanks for the ride, Mary."
He's not
Swear
putting
to
him
God.
like driving Miss Daisy
And I
stuff. He's like,
guarantee-
I'm one of you.
And I guarantee that cop that dropped him off, like by the end of it, was like, "I'm gonna try to fuck this guy." Like Mikey just had charisma.
Was it a lady cop?
Yeah.
Oh, she absolutely wanted to fuck him.
Doesn't matter.
He got.
Have you seen Mikey?
Even most dude cops. I remember one of my, I don't know if I should out him on this, but I'll say it. Fuck it, he can yell at me later. But I remember one of my favorite things to do is I would come in late. Because like I was like a fucking nerd, so I'd be out like playing Halo till 2 a.m. I was like, oh, rough night, I gotta get some sleep. And I'd come in, and we had our loft set up to where he had like blankets like stapled to the ceiling. So like I couldn't see him when he slept.
Yeah.
But like you can clearly tell when someone's fucking in a loft. Like it's really hard to hide.
Yeah, or
And
jacket.
every time, without fail, every single time I'd be like, be a cool roommate. You know what I mean? Ignore everything that's happening. It was like a fucking like zoo show in there. It sounded like smells, and I was just like, don't worry about it. I was like, just climb in bed and like go to sleep. Like be cool. Every fucking time without fail, Mikey would do the, you know, he'd bring the curtain back and just be like, how's your night? You good? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm good. And he would just like, and go right back to it. But it's like, every time he would stop to like check on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no wonder this guy's getting fucking laid all the
Like,
time.
God damn it. That's my coonskin hat. What are you doing with it?
God, he.
No, keep it. It's fine.
Oh my god. But yeah, there's just some people, and if you're gonna be a criminal, like that's a really good trait to have, is like just that mad charisma like that.
Yeah.
He just had that. Even my own
he
girlfriend, she hated almost all of us for being degenerates. But like Mikey, she just fucking loved him.
Yeah.
Like she always thought he was just the best guy.
And,
Because he
that was
he
like
could turn
that was
charm
his
on.
shtick. Yeah.
Yeah, right. His
his
shtick. It was a routine. He was working in the Catskills.
Mine was like Nick's an asshole. Yours was like Griffey's, probably gonna black out and murder somebody tonight.
Yeah, see, I was really loud and really blacked out all
Weird,
the time.
you
That
were?
was my college guy.
Get right out of here.
I was just a dick to everyone.
Yeah, I hated you.
And I loved it.
I
It was
actually
so
remember
much
meeting
fun.
you, and you were like the dorm villain.
Ah, dude.
Because we
loved
went
it.
to play Ultimate Frisbee. That was the day.
Yeah.
And it was like our floor versus the guys on the first floor. Is that where you were at?
Hell yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's just you. And I remember the moment because you showed up to the
Get up on
park.
the phone right
and
now.
just-
Just throw it down in the backyard.
Right, and we're like, we'll take these motherfuckers. And straight up, you just took the shirt off.
Oh, that was
And
my
next thing you
go-to
know-
move.
Yeah, it was like every single play, you're just like flat out sprinting and diving.
Oh, I would try hard.
Like you were more into the ultimate than the frisbee. And I just remember like, this guy's taking out knees. Like this is too much. Because like no one would even go
Play to
near you.
win.
It's like you're gonna get Goldberg.
PTW.
Well, that's the thing. So like, to tie that in, it just doesn't like shirts. So like when I was like, hey man, do you want to like help me out and be in some Kim Murphy videos? He's like, yeah, I got a great character, and he doesn't wear a shirt. And I was like, that's awesome. But then it was like, how are we gonna mic you up? And then that's where the lore came in, when he just had to duct tape to his chest, and I was like, that actually works. That works better than if we.
It was just necessity, but it just played so well.
Right. There is an extra trashiness to it that works. Yeah.
That's a beautiful. Like that's the best accident I've ever made. Was like creating this trash world around Camp Murphy, because literally anything goes.
Yeah.
And it was like
The worse it is, the better it is.
I didn't like have any forward thinking when I thought of that. It was just like, it just so happened that like now our video quality can suck ass. Our audio can suck.
Everything can be there.
And it just fits.
Yeah. What do we? Let's play to our strengths.
I remember what you were doing at the time. Were you working at AT&T?
Angie's List.
Angie's List.
Yeah.
You're like, we sat down. You're like, hey, I got a character for you. I'm gonna try to do some comedy stuff, and I was like, okay,
Okay.
get it, Nick. You're like,
Still in that same arena right now.
you're like, you got to be my best friend. You're a degenerate drunk, and you're shirtless all the time. And I was like, cool. What's the character though?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for real.
So you need a pep talk character. No, I remember too when I found out you were working at Angie's List. I thought for the longest time that was the child molester app.
Yeah.
Because I just remember, I'm like, why are all my friends like busting child molesters now? Because like a couple of you worked there.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Well, I remember like talking back to you guys, and everyone would be like, "Yeah, we're all working at Angie's List." I'm like, was there like an explosion in child predators since I moved to LA?
Dude, I was so bad at that job because it was all commission, and I just I didn't like. We just sat in the cubicle and called people all day, and I just was like,
Didn't
fuck
care.
this. But that's when I was like, I'm gonna try stand-up comedy, and I was like, well, it says here I'll make $10,000 a decade, which is better than what I'm doing now.
Yeah, right.
So, try this out.
Oh, likes it is.
I'm no mathematician. This should last me for a couple years.
Speaking of my stand-up career, Miller saw the launch of it, right?
Yeah.
You saw the first
it
one?
was so our buddy Jeff Ray, who we're gonna
Wait, in Anderson?
Yeah. He bit off a little more than he could chew.
Talk about a place that desperately needs comedy.
God, then even more so then. But our buddy Jeff Ray, who we're gonna try to have on the pod at one point because he's just a hilarious dude, but he was doing a cancer benefit at some bar in Anderson, and so he had like this whole day filled with acts or whatever, and I was drunk talking to him, and I was like, I think I'm going to try to get into stand-up. He's like, you totally should. You should come play my event. And he's like, you can do an hour. And I was like, yeah, totally. That's going to be easy.
1 hour of stand-up?
My very first time, I did a fucking hour.
In a bar,
and maybe
hole-in-the-wall bar in Anderson.
And maybe three minutes of it was funny. Maybe.
Well, you come in with your first joke and you're like, now I got him.
I was laughing on the inside a lot. I'll tell you that.
That's the thing, right? So Ryan and I have known each other for like 20 years, like same as you and me. Damn near. But like, I was like, it was brutal. And like he was like cackle laughing.
Everything
nobody else was, and I was like, he's for sure laughing at me.
Everything was
at
so
my pain right
like
now.
personal though. Like it wasn't even like you were telling jokes. You just gotten out of a really bad ending relationship, and you just poured your. It was like
I couldn't afford
I was
therapy.
gonna say you just like you could have gotten a shrink, but this was cheaper.
It's like, caught myself in the shower today. Dick's not where I want it. Like looking around. Anyone? Is this thing on? Yeah, is this thing on?
Just got out of a relationship with the whore. Like, it was an hour of that.
It might have been the actual line that I used.
So like,
Everybody was like sitting there with their like cup in their hand, like they're like, okay, everybody quiet down now. Like everybody's having a good time. They're like, quiet down for an hour. We're gonna listen to this guy pour his heart out. And I was like, motherfucker, I gotta stop playing pool. Like shit.
I had a great time.
so like you've seen like every stand-up special, and you just watch those, and are like, they just walk out and do that.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 p.m. on a Sunday.
Oh,
so like I mean,
man.
this was after church.
And it was a biker bar too. So they were nonplussed with me from the beginning. From the beginning.
Who's this guy in the Michigan like members only jacket? The fuck?
Jeff Ray was a great hype man though.
And he said he
jumped
bless his
up.
heart. He stood over there and laughed the whole time. And he's one of the funniest guys I know. He knew full well that I was eating shit. And I was.
Like when he went up the first time, he's like, come on stage, you guys, got a big round of applause. This is one of my best friends. He's hilarious and everything. And then like after the show, he's like, that was neat, everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah, swell try.
100% true.
Swell try.
No, like it was like that thing where, like I wanted to do stand-up or whatever, so I was writing shit to go to open mics, and before I ever got the chance, Jeff offered me that thing, and I had like this, I was like, everybody thinks I'm funny, I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And it's that's not how it works.
That
is not how stand-up comedy works.
Put some money in the bucket.
I found that out real fast. I think that benefit was going to raise a lot of money, and it would have raised a lot more if I wasn't there. Like people left.
People left and were like, fuck these cancer patients.
Nobody left while you were doing it. It was like everybody just sat there, solemn, confused.
Well, there is something about, like, you see a guy in Anderson at 2 p.m., right?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you expecting, first off?
Yeah.
So would you rather the guy come out with, like, a mild, like, he thought this out a lot, or just watch some guy eat shit?
But after that, I was like, I'm going to write more. And I'm going to scale it back to, like, 5 minutes and build.
The tight 5, yeah.
And build from there.
Oh,
no, yeah.
God.
So, that was the start of my stand-up career. Hey, here we are.
Jesus.
I got Chuckie on the pod. You guys know Chuckie. So the question that I get asked all the time is what my favorite video is. Like what my favorite camp video. That's what and I always tell them
Favorite to watch or favorite to make?
my favorite. Well, kind of both.
Okay.
For me, it's both. But my favorite one is the dugout talk.
Dugout talk was so much
And like
fun.
when we first put that video out, like it got probably the least love of video at the time of the video. Now like it's kind of grown a cult following ever since then. But the story behind that was like we were hungover as shit.
I was hungover during every video.
Well, yeah, but I was.
Yeah, I know.
This time we both were.
You started taking it like seriously,
Yeah.
and I was like, I just got off. I got home like an hour and a half ago from the bar at 6:30 in the morning. You're like, I'll be there at 8.
Yeah.
Like ringing on the doorbell. I'm not getting up. Breaking windows in my house with this asshole.
Don't know me into
waking me up and pulling me out to a freaking baseball diamond in 105-degree weather. I'm just pouring sweat.
Yeah.
Well, the fat and the hangover like just makes the sweat come hard.
But yeah, this last summer was brutal because you're like, how much weight have all of us gained?
Oh, dude. Dude, we were sitting on the couch the other day, hungover, and he just looked at me. It was like 65 degrees. He's like, I'm sweating.
Dude, I'm sweating right now because there's like sunlight touching me.
Yeah.
And it's like fucking icy cold in here. It's not.
No, it's not.
I'm just sweating. My underfro is like fucking taint wet. It's taint wet. That's how my.
But so you've been in a handful of them.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one that you did?
So, I think Dugout Talks was a lot of fun because I got to do a lot of the writing on that one.
Yeah.
And that was like, we got to experience more, like, there were so many other times where it was like, hey, you have like an outline for a script and you have some ideas of where you want to go.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's make this funny real quick. Try to do something stupid.
Yeah.
Like, and this one actually had like a dialogue for us to follow more than the other ones. Every other time it was like, okay, now quick, do something funny. Like, shit. Like, great direction. Like, I'm a shirt off.
I already put the tape on my chest. That's all I got.
That was like the thing with like, cause that was when Heath was directing it, and like, but Heath can do it. Like he'd be like, do something. Like, yeah, I'll get something out of that. You know, like because he knew how to edit and shit. Like, we know how to edit. He actually knew how to edit, so he could get things out of.
Yeah, we know how to like make the things go like that. Like that's our.
Now we have to be perfect. Because neither of us really know.
I really enjoyed filming the first Dinger Derby.
Yeah.
Because like you had like all these like one-liners, and we tried like them all out.
Yeah.
And then we just got stuck.
Yeah.
It was like 2 p.m, and I was like, screw this. Like, let's go get some food. And we had a couple beers.
Yep.
And then they just flew out. Yeah. Then every single like the Aaron Hernandez line and all of them just like came right off the paper. And like it was awesome after that, and it was just a lot of fun because we were drinking again.
The Aaron Hernandez line. So like the Gone Forever Aaron Hernandez. Yeah. I don't know that anybody knows this besides you and me, but like that. First of all, I will never outlive that. Like that is.
Yeah.
People say that to me every time I'll go to like a baseball event and there's Gone Forever Aaron Hernandez. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. Like I put something, but that was your line. Like you wrote that line.
Yeah.
When we were at the restaurant or whatever.
Yep. That's the other one.
Hepatitis C. Later.
See you later was mine.
Yeah.
FIFA, fuck you, Chuckie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all sitting at that burger joint. I was a couple beers in and feeling good.
Yeah. Real good. Yeah. God, we sweat that day. We just like pounded burgers and drank and then went right back into the sun.
Just doubled out on the
sweat. And I took
like
100 hacks. Oh, it was bad.
On a serious note, though, how do you think we got so much fatter over the years?
I mean, for me, it's easy. Like
pounding beers and burgers.
I'll tell you how. I'll tell you exactly how. So this morning I got up and I had just like a little bit for breakfast or whatever. So I'm driving over here to do this. Not feeling hungry. I passed a McDonald's and I saw that they had hot and spicy McChickens back.
Oh yeah.
So I fucking.
On the dollar.
I was already past the McDonald's by the time it registered what it was. I turned around, not hungry when I had 2 of them.
Oh, you can't do the U-turn.
And that's why I'm getting fatter.
Mine was more of like a 30 for 30. Yeah, I had like hardcore sports guy injuries, and then I got married, and you're like, what is this all about? Like once you get married and have a kid, you're like, am I gonna like not help raise my kid so I can go like fucking sweat for 3 hours? Like, no, like that's fucking nonsense. Yeah. Like I mean I should, but mine was just like I gave up exercising and got really into fantasy sports. So I was like I wasn't going for 3 hours to lift weights, but I'm like, Amy, we got a draft. Like when will you be home? I don't know when they throw us out. She's like, it's 11 in the morning. You're like, I'm sorry.
I never gave up exercise. It wasn't on the agenda in the first place. So.
All right. I hated exercising, so I had to do like we would play softball. That was like exercising.
Yeah.
But like we'd go to the batting cage before and feel like, oh, we're like really in on it.
Yeah.
And then I was doing jujitsu and kickboxing because I used to wrestle, right? And like I can't run. Like I can't just like my wife just leaves my house and jogs, and she's like, oh, I feel great. And I'm like, I would jump in a pond and die of boredom.
Yeah.
Like if I just had to like jog.
Just jog to jog? Is she going somewhere? Is she picking something up on
no,
this jog?
she just likes, she's like, I ran 4 miles. Like,
why?
I'm like, what?
Why?
Yeah, she's like, oh, I looked at like new houses. It's beautiful. I'm like, what the fuck? But like for me, like I've always been into like, I can play games, right? Like it has to be a game. So like jujitsu and whatever, it's like, you're in an activity. But the thought, and like if you go to the gym, it's just like fucking trash people. Like everyone at gyms, you're just like, I don't want people to like see me here and think I'm like a gym bro.
If I could chase a ball or a frisbee, then I can run for
No,
a
I
long time.
remember.
But
I remember. You were like, I'm
otherwise
here to
I can't
take
run.
these. There were probably a lot of careers that ended because of your hustle.
But I remember when I lived in LA with you, and you like the first time you invited me to come play softball on that softball team, I was like, cool, yeah, I'd love to do that. I've never lost more respect for you than when we pulled into the fucking batting cage before the game, and I was like, you were like, I gotta get some reps in before I go hit 6 mile an hour fucking softball pitches. I was like, I mean, I had fun at the cage, but I was like, you guys do this?
No,
and
we
like that's the lamest shit.
Okay, all right. First off,
I gotta go warm up for
for
a fucking loser sport.
Dude, come on, come on now. First off, what it is you're like, if I had a game at like some of our games wouldn't start till 9. So like then I have to sit at home with my kids. And
do you think you're gonna get
like,
rusty at hitting 6 mile an hour?
Because I want to leave 9 p.m. So I want to leave at 5 p.m. And then we're going to the cages before we got to dodge traffic. So really, you go eat and have a couple beers, then you would go.
Yeah.
So like it was like a whole.
Go to Bonnie's.
Yeah, because you're like when it's Tuesday, you're like that was my day because I was like a stay-at-home dad for a while. You're like I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like this is my day. So the earlier I could get out of the house, the better. And also, you say it's embarrassing, but.
No, he said he lost more respect.
Oh, lost.
Not embarrassing.
Well, honestly,
he lost respect.
Yeah. I find
worse than embarrassing.
I'm gonna silver lining this and say I can't believe your bucket was so overflowing with respect for me.
Also true.
Yeah, right.
Also true.
I mean, you've seen me do some like illegal shit, and you're like softball batting practice is what did it. But no, you're like, what's even worse than that is showing up and being like, oh, I popped up to the pitcher. Then it's like you gotta like just get beaten to death.
Yeah, but like you can't practice softball.
You can.
I mean, you can.
You can.
You should.
I did it all the time.
There's better, like, the softball is the thing to get you away from whatever your shit life is happening right now.
How dare you?
Hey, I do it too, man.
Just kidding. My wife doesn't listen. We're good.
Now we do podcasts.
No, we
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is 30-year-old white guy softball.
Still sweating.
I'm so sweaty
and
right now.
I didn't warm up for I didn't fucking sit in the bathroom with my microphone.
Good Lord. But this is what I'm saying though. That's why when we went to Barney's, you were like 4 more tacos, and I was just surrounded by 5s. You were like, "You hit a dinger tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, a couple of them." Begone thought. You know what I mean?
This is Greg.
Yeah, right.
Actually, you were singing fucking Meatloaf on at the karaoke.
Which one?
I don't know. So
Paradise by the Dashboard Lights.
Which, by the way, is like almost 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
But my move was I'd walk through, and whichever one of the 4s or 5s were like, you play softball and can hit a dinger? I'm like, yeah, I weigh 270 pounds. Come on, lady. And next thing you know, it's like, do you Paradise by the Dashboard Light? And she'd be like, oh my God, can we? I'm like, yep. And then just like drag her, because she's pretty much like sliding on moisture at that point. Drag her to the stage and be like, the fucking rage. Actually, my favorite thing we ever saw at karaoke, because you own a bar, so you probably see karaoke shit all the time. My favorite one was we're at Barney's Beanery. And like for some reason, like a Disney off broke out, right? People are singing Disney songs.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, this very flamboyant man, walks up on stage, and he's doing A Whole New World, right? And he starts off, right?
A whole new world.
Yeah, and he's like real into it. Like I hate karaoke people that think it's like an audition. So
if you're not singing A Whole New World really into it, are you really singing A Whole New World?
That's a weird one, because I go and have...
It's like the Titanic song. Like, I mean, you gotta give it your all.
Yeah. You can't bummer that one out.
That song from The Bodyguard, you're like, I'm not that happy to be here. No, but so he goes in and he's like amped. Well, all of a sudden this girl runs up on stage because she thinks it's Jasmine time, everyone's singing along, like the bar's into it. And she's like, I'm gonna run up here and get on this Jasmine part. And that guy fucking face palms her ass and like pretty much threw her on the ground. And the whole crowd's like, oh! And she gets up, she's like, what the fuck? Like, I want to sing Jasmine. And he's like, and he said this right into the mic. It's so funny to say where he goes, bitch, it only works if I do both. I remember just being like, I will buy that guy any drink. It's the funniest, because he did, like, he stopped her, and then, like, on beat, he's like, oh! and he just went like right into the Jasmine part because that's how he did it. He like harmonized with him. Bitch, it only works if I do.
That guy practices, man.
Oh, well, Barney's Beanery got out of control where like people were coming, and then they started doing crowd work and shit during karaoke. So the girls would sing that like ba-boom, ba-boom. I don't remember what it is, right? It's like this.
It's a fat person walking.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. But it's like jazzy, and if you get like a meaty lady doing it, they're like, ooh, it's like a sexy walk then, right? And she brought like a scarf to like wrap around like fat, sweaty softball guys, and I was like, oh, that turns me off. I want to not see you do like a stage routine.
We have karaoke practicers,
for sure.
Steve Rice.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, dude. Steve, dude, if Steve's watching this right now, he's gonna be like, fuck yeah.
He's like, I made it. I'm on a podcast.
He posts videos of him practicing karaoke from his house. He posts it on social media.
Has he ever?
He's a riot.
Has he ever gotten laid in his life?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Right. I mean, he's a ladies' man. The guy's fearless.
You gotta know the guy.
The guy's fearless.
It's
Every single time I'm like, Steve, no standing on the pool table. He's like, oh, I forgot. I was like, it's the fourth time tonight, man.
He works.
I like the notion of that when he's like, I forgot. It's like, when did you think that was okay? Stand on a pool table with baseline.
Well, he had to work. He works for every karaoke night.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's insane. He works that shit, man. Like he doesn't go up there and like try to have a pretty voice. Like he knows that he's not a good singer, but he knows that he's an entertainer as well.
Yeah.
So he commits to it. He commits to singing it, and he will. He'll go at the notes and he won't get them. But he's fucking moving around and everybody's having a good time.
I'll see him on a Tuesday and he'll be like, Miller. Oh my God, so good to see you, man. How you been? Great to see you. I found a new song. I haven't practiced it yet, but we're going to start practicing. I'm going to be ready Saturday. You going to be there? And I'm like, yeah, Steve, I'm going to be there. He's like, awesome. I can't wait.
I work here, dude. I work here.
I mean,
okay.
He has videos on the golf course with the golf club.
Oh, yeah.
Playing air guitar.
Well, he's the guy that, he walks around and like he's like fucking Robin Williams, not funny-wise, but just like that energy.
All the energy with
he walks around like bouncing around and he's like, I don't use Coke. And we're like, but like he goes out of his way to tell you that. And we're like, that's fine.
Yeah.
We all thought you were.
He had to pay for a new microphone because he slammed the microphone down one night. He was so into it that like he just forgot, like, hey, this is an expensive piece of equipment and it's not mine. So he just spiked it like it was a football.
Good night. It was a sweet move.
You asked him to pay for it, and he's like, I'm still waiting for my check.
I bet if you asked him right now, he'd say worth it.
Yeah,
worth it.
Absolutely.
For the moment.
To just like, I mean, oh God. Yeah, I don't know.
So what's the best?
Ugh.
You bounced at bars for a long time.
I was a bouncer for a long time, yeah.
I bartended. You bartended for a long time. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite kick out? When you've ever had to kick somebody out? Ooh. I know mine.
Oh no, you start.
And it's hilarious. So I'm bartending one night, and this guy walks in. It's like 2:30 in the morning. There's like two people in the bar, and he's hammered. Like he can barely get through the front door. So he gets to the bar. He's like, let me get a Jet and Coke, and I was like, no. Because I just watched him drive up.
He's like,
I was like, nah, man. And he was like, why? And I was like, you can't even walk. He goes, I'm blind. Like he pulled it out, but then he like played it off.
Colored your ass.
And he was doing this where he's like looking at you, but he's not looking at you. And I was like, you are not blind. And he's like, yes, I am. And in my head, I'm like, this is the greatest excuse I've heard so far. And I go, I just watched you drive up. And he goes, no, you didn't. I go, yes, you did. He goes, which one's my car then? And I didn't say anything. I just pointed, and he goes like that. And I go, oh, I got you.
He's trying to Stevie Wonder you.
And he was like, fine. And he got a water. And then he was like sitting next to somebody else, and I saw him like trying to drink their drink, and I was like, nah, dude, you got to go. And he was like, I swear I'm blind. I was like, we already went through this. You don't even remember that you lied to me about being blind? Like, that's how drunk you are? It's amazing.
Let me ask you this. If he had pulled off the not looking, right? Like he had done the Kobe. Just
dude, I'm psycho.
Would you have been like,
oh, gotcha.
That's a drink. That's one drink, and then we're calling it.
And by the way, that bar guest was Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
He was not blind.
I remember Steve Hardy said that. He's like, I looked out the window and Stevie was driving my car. What do you think? Did you ever throw people out? You've had to throw people out.
Oh yeah. Sure. I mean, forcibly remove, and I mean, yeah. There's been some bad things that have happened over the years. Everything now is, I know we have security and everything now, which helps out a lot. But like back in the day, it was kind of like the Wild West in the bar.
Yeah, right.
Like I mean, so like the bartender was the manager on duty and the security guard, and so you're trying to like serve one person while stop this guy from hitting you over here. I mean, I had an ashtray thrown at my head, like a glass ashtray back in the day at Fox.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, stuff's happened. I've had a lot of people, a lot of human secretions all over the place.
Oh, Jesus.
The guy shit in his chair, and that was not fun. Oh my
shit
God.
and puked, didn't he? Like all at once?
He sneezed, puked. No, he was puking in the cup, and the cup filled up. And then, like, I went to go, like, switch the cup out because I was awful.
You're like a fucking stage magician.
I went to, like, I tried to. Like, I tried to do that quick move. And, like, as I, like, went for it, I was like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark trying to, like, change it with a bag of sand. And, like, right as I do that, the cup's all the way to the top, and he's just drunk and wasted. And he goes, and he sneezed it, and so the puke just goes like this. And I was like, shit. It's, like, on my face. Terrible. So then I went around, and that's when I noticed the shit everywhere. That was a bad day.
I think my favorite kick out that I remember you doing.
Jesus Christ. So, could you just imagine having to go home to your wife and be like, I sneezed, puked, and shit on myself in public.
So then
he for sure didn't have a girlfriend.
So I couldn't call him a taxi to get him home because he had shit and puke all over himself.
Before Uber.
Yeah, before Uber. I couldn't call the cops because I didn't want them to be mad at me. And so I was like, how do I get this home? But then there was this other drunk regular that nobody liked. And I was like, hey, come here. I was like, you know him, don't you? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you mind giving him a ride home? He's like, absolutely, man. I was like,
shit in his
pants. Just covered in shit and puke. And I was like, they went out the door and I was like, sweet.
That's like you're going to use the regular. He's like, I'm more important to Joe's now.
I didn't know what I was going to do.
Dude, I've had so many bad... Like, I used to work at the Chug in college, which was just like a fucking shit show. I don't remember which ones
to this day, my favorite bar in the world.
We just sat there, man, on the foosball table every night, try-harding it.
Dude, I can't remember which ones I've told her now. I know there's one I haven't told, but I chipped my elbow once because I was outside drinking and smoking. Because, like, we got paid shit, right? We were making, like, 6 or 5, 7, whatever minimum wage was.
That was pretty good in college.
To, like, get our fucking asses beat, right? Yeah. You're only working, like, 6 hours, so, like, our paychecks were small. But the benefit was you go in and fucking drink for free. Yeah. And, like, you and maybe sometimes a couple buddies, so you're like, that's where you're making
pitchers were 5-cent pitchers were so expensive. You're like, I need to go get them for free.
Fill that chug mug up for 50 cents.
Well, no, like, I'd come to a table with, like, 4 free Jaeger bombs, and I felt like I was, like, you know, the Great Gatsby.
You were,
I was like, I'm super rich.
Nobody bought a round of shots in college.
Yeah, right?
I'd just be like, I'm going to get a beer.
Yeah. I remember if somebody did buy a round, I was like, fucking rich guy.
Look at this guy.
And the round of the bar was like $7.
I know.
Daddy's credit card.
Yeah, so one time we had this guy, and he was getting thrown out. And I remember we hired this new guy, and he was like the new smallest bouncer. Because I was the smallest bouncer normally, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you get those big fucking meatheads, and we had Joe who looks like Donkey Kong and shit. And so I was like the bouncer, like, I'm bigger than most people, but I'm also like, you know, even a guy who's like 5'8", like when they're drunk, they're like, you could probably fuck this dude up. And you're like, yeah, maybe.
And now you're just like, I could probably fuck this dude.
Yeah, right? That's how then I'm like, let me get you 4 Jaeger bombs and do a little dick sucks. No. So, like, I saw my buddy, and he was, like, pulling this guy out, and it was, like, a struggle, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't going to go well, because we had those fucking cement steps. And so getting him to the door was one thing, but getting him up the fucking steps was, like, impossible. Yeah. Like, I remember my first shift, like, 3 of us were tackling the guy, and his fucking nose hit right on the edge of the concrete step, and he came up, and that shit was just on the side. Ugh. And I was like, that was like my first night ever being a bouncer. I was like, oh, is this just like every night? It is like Roadhouse, right? Most of the time it's just girls trying to give you $20 to let their underage friend
straight. It's my way or the highway.
Yeah, right? But so one night I saw my friend, he gets this guy to the door, and I was like, this is going to be a big problem. And I don't know why, instead of just walking down and helping him, like, you know, you get the old waist lock, and then it's usually pretty good, right? 2 or 3 guys, you can move someone. I walked up on the catwalk. So we had like these little like concrete walls, right? And so I walked out on the ledge, and I held the fence, and I waited. And the moment he got the dude out the door, I go, fuck you! And I fucking jumped and tried to, like, macho man his ass. And Tom just looked up, or I shouldn't have said his name, and he goes, huh? And he, like, backed up. The guy, like, got away. And I went, ah! And just fucking drilled that concrete floor. And I was like, ah! And I'm, like, rolling around. The manager came out. I said, what the fuck? And I was like,
such a terrible play.
I was like, I'm a team player. I was helping. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. Because I probably would have killed Tom anyways. I would have landed on his neck. And so, like, my fucking elbow is gigantic. And they were like, do you want to go to the hospital? I was like, no, fuck no, I'm here with a friend from out of town. Like, let's drink. So the rest of the night, they're just feeding me booze. Is my fucking elbow.
Just throbbing.
Yeah. And it's just like one of those, I was like, I don't know what my strategy was. I had no exit plan.
You top rope onto concrete. Like,
yeah.
Well, it's your fault.
It's a bold strategy.
Well, like, imagine if I had landed on that guy. I might have killed him. Like, I might have been doing this from prison.
You're not Rey Mysterio size either.
No. Even back then when I was, like, even Spelter Griff was like 235. So it's like, not like top rope material per se. But it was.
I think my favorite kick out that I ever saw you do. So at the bar that you used to work at, Joe, so it has 2 bars, and they're like split by a wall, and you can go between both of them. But you were on one side, and it was getting near the end of the night, and so a bunch of us went to the other side because you like had nobody over there, so you were like cleaning, and they were gonna fucking hang out, and there was like one dude left, and we're all sitting over here talking, and all of a sudden I see this dude walking backwards, like double birding you like this, and you're just slowly walking in front of him like this is like super unamused, and he goes, "You can't touch me," and you're like, "You're right." And there's like 6 of us. He goes, "Hey guys," and fucking Rosenthal's one of them. He's like 6'6", 280.
I was like, "But they can't."
Up, and this dude's face is like, "Shit."
And then he's like, you can't touch me. You can't touch me. I was like, "Yeah," but I got him like over to the other side, and I was like, "But they can." Oh boys. Stood up,
and this guy, the dude went from like super confident to like, "Oh my god, I'm fucked." And we went outside with him. We went outside with him, and the whole time he was standing there, he's like, "No, I'm sorry, I was just joking." We're like, "No, you weren't."
Yeah, fuck
like, it was a joke. It was funny.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite one that I witnessed you do. I know, but it was just funny because he was like super kind. Like I wasn't gonna do anything, but like Roosevelt stood up, and I was like, he looks in, and Roosevelt would. I know he might, but he just looks worse than he is, you know.
Yeah. Well, anytime a guy's like that big, you're like, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're the best fighter
the
in the
guy
world.
was like my size, so you know.
If a guy's 6'6" and over 300 pounds, that's like an ordeal.
No, he was a kid too.
Yeah.
He was just a cocky little shit.
I wonder what that's like. I never was like that. I never was like that. That's weird. It's a weird trait for people to have.
I remember being like that though, because even when you become a bouncer, you just all of a sudden think you're tough, and you're like, oh, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's like I remember being at the bar one night, just hitting on this guy's girlfriend like insane. He's like playing pool, and I'm like sitting on the pool, like my ass is on the pool table, just hitting on his girlfriend.
Sitting on the pool stick. What?
No, yeah, right? Like, ooh. He's like, oh, you got that halfway? No. So you're just like, I'm hitting on his girlfriend, and we're just going for it. And he kept kind of like, hey man, that's my girlfriend. I was like, cool man, if you want to die, like, if this is the hill you're ready to die for. I'm like, how long have you been dating? Are you ready to, have me call your mom and say you're dead? And he was just like, what? And I'm like blackout drunk, and my friend's like, stop it. And every time he came up, he's like, dude, for real, stop hitting on my girlfriend. I'm like, hope you ordered your casket, pal. Because that's just like, I've been a bouncer for like a week.
For it.
Yeah, and my friends were just like, dude, because it's like the bouncer problem is like when you walk up to a table and you're like, all right, there's the guy I got to throttle. I'll throw this dude out, no problem.
Going home and jerking off to Roadhouse.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. We used to watch that on the way to the Jimmy Buffett concert every summer. We'd like bring the kegs and shit with us, and Phil would get us a bus, and we would just get hammered watching Roadhouse and
so
Jimmy
good.
Buffett.
Yeah,
smoking out and shit. But like you go to a table, like, I'm gonna throw this dude out, and next thing you know, you grab him, you're like, no problem. But then you hear like the chairs like, and you're like, fuck. You're like once, and then all of a sudden it's just like whack-a-mole, just people punching the back of your head.
Yeah.
You're like, I miscalculated that one.
I saw a good chair rip not too long ago.
That was awesome.
A good what?
Like it. So the guy was causing a scene. He was sitting in a bar stool. Bartender's yelling at him like, you got to go.
Yeah.
Giving him a ton of chances. The guy won't get up. So Bartender just fucking rips the chair up. And it's a tall bar stool, so the dude like took a good fall. It's one of my favorite moves. It's one of the better ones I've seen.
Let me ask you guys. I have a huge fucking beef with bars. Why have the bar stools in front of the bar? Do you guys ever like? Is that just like a thing?
Like, instead of like having a standing.
Yeah, like when it gets busy at night and you'll have these old fucks just like blocking the bar, and I'm trying to order a drink. Like,
yeah, you try
to squeeze my sweaty tits in between like a couple who are on like their
people like to sit at the bar.
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
understand that, but like, shouldn't there be like when it hits like 8 p.m. like get the fuck out of here?
Well, that's the thing. Is like, I mean, you also have to look at like a bar like I have. It's a grill. It's a neighborhood bar,
right.
And then like at night, then it kind of becomes a bar.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden it's just heavy drinking. But like during the day, like I mean, there's tons of people that sit in the bar.
Not when I'm there.
Yeah, during the day is fine.
Yeah.
No drinks for you, blind guy.
But I mean, we still have so many people sitting at the bar at night. But then on the weekends, all of a sudden it gets just absolutely insane, especially on Saturdays, and you're 4 deep. And so, I mean, it would almost make sense
why
to
do those
move
people
the
even
chair
sit
away.
there? Because, like, why would you want to be on a date with someone and have me... Like, I'm sweating now in my air-conditioned house, like in a bar, just... trying to like slide in to grab 4 drinks.
I like when
I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, because then you have to order like 2 rounds for everyone, so you don't want to come back to the bar.
I do love when it's like 2 in the morning and like, or 1 in the morning and like somebody's sitting at the bar and it's, there's fucking 3 deep.
Yeah.
People waiting to get drinks and like the person sitting at the bar is like, they keep hitting my chair.
What do you expect?
Where do you think you are? Where exactly in your mind are you?
But you know what's funny? I feel like that's exactly how that guy lives his life.
Oh yeah. He's a male Karen.
Yeah,
for sure.
Fucking male
Darren.
Karen.
I know who you're talking about too.
He's lived that so much. Like, I know.
I was like, I can throw that name out there right now.
Starts with D.
Oh my God.
Runs with Schwan.
How's the bar business now, man? Are people back? Are people back? How's the bar business right now?
I mean, since we opened back up, after quarantine, the moment we opened back up, everybody came in. Everybody was thirsty. Everybody was sick of being at home with their kids. So they wanted to escape. So they immediately came back to the bar. We were on a wait at noon the first day.
Jesus Christ.
Joe's Grill in Fishers, Indiana.
Are you guys still doing, like, are there still limits on who can come in and stuff like that?
We're at 75% capacity now.
Right on.
So, there's a lot of rules to follow and stuff, but, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys had it a lot better than most just because of the crowd that you've been able to build for the last.
Yeah. And
you guys are lucky because
the community is awesome.
You did it right. You've got a great
We have so many regulars.
Yep.
So they've been awesome. It's been a lot of fun.
And
they
you have regulars that drive shitty puke guys home. So
we're
like a really good community.
Like everybody, we've kicked out a lot less people since quarantine ended because I think the people are like, man, I don't want to get kicked out. Like, I haven't been out for a long time. I just want to be able to stay out. They're gonna ban me.
I just got the first text that was
have
like,
you kicked out less people or less percentage of people? Is it proportionate?
Less people. Yeah.
Is it proportionate to the 50%?
Yeah, it's still less. It's still like the percentage of people's down.
I was gonna say it's just a numbers game, man. Just wait a couple minutes, right back to normal.
Percentage down.
You'll get another one. God, you're killing me.
I think
we haven't kicked anybody out in a while. I think
you almost kicked me out one time.
Were you guys buddies at this time?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What? Oh, he's a drunken asshole. Have you hung out with this guy?
I know. Oh no,
I still have a job to do, man.
I have stories for days.
It was me and my buddy Kyle, and it was 2013 because it was the year that Michigan went to the national championship in basketball.
Oh yeah.
But it was the Elite Eight game, and they were playing Kansas, and we were down like 13 with like 4 minutes left, and we came back and we tied it up on a Trey Burke last second shot to go to like overtime or whatever. And I was hammered. And when that dropped, me and Kyle were already being
going back and forth.
And Kyle's 6'7", 300 pounds. He's a
the loudest man I know.
And so he
and he's always right.
He had money. He had money on Kansas. Obviously, I'm a Michigan fan. So like we were at odds with each other. I was like, why the fuck would you bet Kansas knowing damn well that I'm going to watch this game with you, you fucking loser? So we're like, so then that shot drops, and I just look at him like, fuck you! And I start running around the bar, I'm like, fuck you! And he's fucking losing his mind because he just lost money. He like lays down on the bar top, like all 6'7". Meanwhile, I'm running around the bar. Nobody in there's a Kansas fan, but I'm flipping people off as if they were Kansas fans. I make my way back. Kyle's peeling himself off the bar at Ryan's request, naturally. And Ryan like pulled me to the side and was like, "Look, dude, I love you. You're my best friend, but like, I would have kicked anybody else out." And I grabbed Kyle and so I was like, "Miller, serious? Like we're being." He was like, "Yeah."
Dude, that's what happens.
I found the line. I found the line and went right past it.
There
kept on driving. Turns out there is a line.
Absolutely.
Not a free-for-all.
It's always about sports, because that happened to us once. I only got kicked out, like that bar we used to go to in North Hollywood.
Yeah.
And like they would only kick us out on sports nights. But that was
They kicked us out during the Stanley Cup game. That was the one downtown. That was.
By the way, we got kicked out of like 3 bars that Stanley Cup run. So we went downtown. We knew this guy from college who lives out there now, and he does some work downtown. So like I hadn't seen him since the chug, and he's like, "Hey man, come down." And I still feel bad to this day because we like acted a fucking fool. Like every terrible, shitty thing you could do, like me and Nick did that night.
Yeah, I punched a homeless man.
Yeah, no, he punched a homeless guy. I threatened to.
That's the whole story.
Yeah, one of my like friends from college, she showed up with a guy, and I was just like, "You want me to throw you through this fucking window?" And it was like he'd been there for like a minute, and he just looked at me, and like then we went to like an after hours bar, and Andy Dick was there, so like we re-kicked up my feud with Andy Dick.
I know some of this story.
Yeah, it was like insane. But that's what started it, is that we were watching the LA Kings at like 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
which is so weird to me out west.
That wasn't Stanley Cup. That was the finals.
Yeah,
we also got kicked out of a couple bars during the Western Conference Finals.
That's what I mean. It was like a thing. It was like we were so amped, and we were getting so drunk, and it was like this fancy, swanky downtown bar, not like a sports bar. And so, like, we scored a goal, and I'm just like, whoa! And I'm just like this big, fucking, fat, sweaty monster wearing, like, a hockey jersey. So I'm, like, just drenched. Like, probably when I stand up, I'm like, screaming.
You look like Kevin Smith's less successful brother.
So we're just screaming, and they kicked us out, and I was like, fuck you! And, like, they don't even have bouncers, because everyone, it's like one of those places where, like, the waiters and staff are, like, wearing bow ties. And I was like, fuck you! I'm like, you don't even deserve to be in this town. You don't deserve the cup.
We were like Ruth's Chris, acting like we're at the Chug, pretty much.
Yeah, like they were serving us
kicked out of classier joints than this.
But no, we're just like, you don't deserve the cup. And like that was like like down, but it happened so much. Like I remember the Brewers when they were going to go to the World Series and they lost to the Cardinals of all people. We were so mad, and so like we're getting hammer drunk and we're furious. My friend even like puked in a like mini pitcher and hit it. Right?
I have a friend like that.
Yeah, right? So like, cause he's like, I don't want to get kicked out, bro. Like, guard me. So I took my jersey and like blocked him so he could like puke. And we went outside and like these guys were out there.
I like how much time he had to think about this. Like, hey, I got a plan because I'm going to puke.
Well, what I love is
I want to.
Yeah, because he also was like, he's like, order me a Bloody Mary. I'm gonna need to recoup. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. So me and my Brewers friends, we go outside and there are these Cardinal fans, and it's like over beer pong. And we're like ready to throw down. So I go outside, I'm like, fuck you guys, the Cardinals fucking suck. Cheaters, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, my friend Yam diffused it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was going to be a brawl, yeah. Because he got in between us, like, and I was like livid. And
Yam only likes to fight, though. I find that hard to believe that he diffused.
This was his move, though. Because he's like a stocky, gravelly voice guy. He had like a ponytail and shit. He's just like, hey man, he's like, I'm not looking for trouble. He's like, you know.
You hit him with the Dalton.
Well, no, he did that. He's like, you know, you want trouble here. And he kind of did that. I can't remember how he got there, but essentially he told them, he's like, I didn't spend all those years bouncing for Bone Thugs to get, you know, beat up in this bar. And the guys were like, you were a bouncer for like Bone Thugs and Harmony? He's like, yeah, the road is rough.
He humble brags to defuse fights.
Yeah, but the guys immediately like,
look, man, I didn't make that film with Robert Downey Jr. I get beat up here.
But that's what I was like, of all the bands he thought, 'cause he's like a metalhead, right?
I was like, that.
How the fuck did you get to Bone Thugs and Harmony in like 2010? I was like, how did this happen?
I gotta try that.
But like, we were like, seriously, we were on that like concrete patio, ready to fucking fight. He's just like, you know, I didn't do all that time with Bone Thugs to get my ass beat in North Hollywood. And I was just like, holy shit. And it worked.
You wouldn't believe the stuff we saw on the road. 98, Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah.
Crazy time.
That was back before she loved dogs. It was weird.
Yeah, I was like, what a weird. But I think that's why it worked, though. Because if he had said, like, I was a bouncer for Slayer, they'd be like, yeah, right. But, like, who in the fuck would ever come up with Bone Thugs? Like, it was too specific of a lie.
I wasn't Hanson's tour manager for all those years. I beat up here.
I was just karate kicking 1,014-year-olds.
Toured for like 4 years on the road. It was crazy.
It was crazy. Hey, guys. That's Chuckie. Joe's Grill in Fishers, Indiana. If you're ever in town, stop by. Say hi.
Westfield coming.
Yeah, that's right. Westfield, Indiana, opening up soon.
Right over here.
Yeah. Shout out to the other guy, Nally and Jones. Love you guys too. They're the other owners with them. Hey guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.